Okay, class, we are in the pyramid of the diligence. Okay, basically, class, we have already finished pyramid of giving, the pyramid of precept, okay, then the pyramid of patience. Now we go to the pyramid of the diligence. Okay, so we expect to maybe we can finish the pyramid of patience today. So let's take a look to the previous lesson. In previous lesson, the transcendence of diligence as taught by Buddha is the provision necessary for the attainment of blessing and wisdom. Meaning to say that the diligence is necessary because in order to attain the blessing and the wisdom, they need it. The purpose of the blessing is to achieve okay the perfection in Shakyamuni body lah. So remember we talk about the 32 marks, all this looks so funny. So I think sometimes the inspirations, the admiration, and the dreaming of the devotee, they integrate all together with our sutra. So we come out with the 32 marks, and also include some legends, popular at the time. Then besides this, let's take a look. One's mind should be insatiable, as vast as the ocean. Even when one's strength is exhausted, one's mind should never stop. So we need to set up with the diligence, then you wouldn't be satisfied. Because in order to attain to the Buddhahood, you have to learn many Dhamma door. You have to, save incalculable being, and then you have to attain the very high, okay, unreachable Buddhahood. So all are, countless, immeasurable. So you must have the diligence in order to attain that. So today, okay, so we stop there, all right. So now we go, today the lesson we begin with the 2 examples. Yeah, Mr. Leong, can you try to read it out? Let me test, see how is your mic. 2 examples, Mr. Leong, please.
2 examples may illustrate this. In the first, 2 farmers work in the field. Farmer A works hard at harvesting, but after gathering some of the harvest, goes home to rest and relax. Farmer B works hard without stopping until the harvesting is done. In terms of diligence, A may be more anxious, but in the end, he is a lazy worker, and B is the diligent one. Similarly, the Sravakas' urgent pursuit of their own liberation, like that of one whose father and mother has just died, is not real diligence according to the great vehicle Dharma. Diligence must be distinguished from the rushing around that comes from having overestimated one's ability. And this next example shows 2 people are going up the hill. One runs quickly but does not get even halfway when palpitations and sore legs force a retreat. The other person advances in great strides without rushing and, conserving energy, reaches the top without resisting. In sum, only by insatiably and incessantly doing good deeds can this be considered the diligence of the great vehicle. In the course of practice, some may break off or backslide due to exhaustion and the inability to keep moving. But mentally, the diligence of the bodhisattvas is unlimited and will never stop, even though their strength, that is physical, intellectual, or financial, may be exhaustible. The ancients say, there is no grief as great as that of a person without any hope. To admit failure and quit trying is the real failure. There is a story about a traveler who, walking in the mountains, encounters a mountain ghost blocking his way. The traveler hit the ghost with his left hand, but the ghost seizes his hand. He then hits the ghost with his right hand, his left leg, and his right foot, and finally his head. but the ghost seizes them all. The ghost says, "What a brave traveler! Now what can you do?" The travelers reply, "My mind will never be bound and wants to move on." The mountain ghost admires his courage and persistent perseverance and let him pass through. In the course of practicing the Bodhisattva's deeds, if one is unable to move on because of insufficient strength, one should be determined to advance like the traveler.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Leong, your streaming is good without
Yes.
not opening the camera. It's very good or very fluent.
No, sometimes only Sifu.
Yeah. Because if I feel good, I'm meaning to say that you can see me well, so you can hear me well. Also. Am I right? If I feel that you are well.
Okay. Yes, okay.
Okay. Tama, please, once you finish. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, here, what we see is the definition of the diligence. Okay, class, if we compare Stravaka, you see Stravaka, the way we see they work so hard for liberation, the reason is they are able to see the five aggregate just like a burning house. So they will meditate very well for the liberation. But for Bodhisattva, great vehicle, this is not the definition of diligence. For Bodhisattva, the real diligence means you will be keep on learn incessantly. Why? Because you might be in in order for the Buddhahood, you need maybe 3 kappa life in this Saha world. So meaning to say that you can't the definition is you learn persistently and consistently. That is the real definition. Why? Because you take if you the way you work like a Stravaka, okay, maybe you are hardworking in the short term only. But for Bodhisattva, since that their time is so long, okay, the persistency and the perseverance is the real definition for the Bodhisattva. So from here, Reverend Yushin could do example, a quite mundane example to make us understand the definition of the perseverance. In terms of Bodhisattva, it's quite different. The way we understand for the diligence is a little bit different. Okay, so next paragraph, Elena, your turn to read, please.
The obstruction and the ways to overcome them.
No. Oh, yeah, correct. Sorry. Okay, please keep on.
The obstructions are procrastination, attachment to worldly pleasures, self-disparagement, timidity. And for those who are unable to practice the great vehicle, Buddha Dharma, diligently, there are only two categories of obstruction: not wanting to practice and not daring to practice. The Buddha way is so virtuous. Why would some not want to practice it? Such behavior is due either to procrastination and laziness or to attachment to worldly pleasures. Some people are so habitually lazy that they cannot work hard on any good deed but always procrastinate. Today's good deeds are delayed until tomorrow, and this year's delayed until next year. But if such people remember impermanence, that life only exists between breath and that death does not discriminate between the old and the young, and that the human form is hard to attain, they might enliven their practice. Some people are greedy and attached to the pleasurable affairs of the world. Outwardly busy, they live in sensual and monetary pleasures, so they do not want to practice the Buddha way. But if they observe how worldly pleasures are not ultimate and often have bitter consequences, like honey on a plate, their attachments to worldly pleasures might decline, and they might practice and attain the benefits of the Dharma. Why do some not dare to practice? Because they disparage themselves, thinking that since these are the later days of the Dharma, and they are of dull capacities and have serious obstacles, they cannot really accomplish the profound, vast, and boundless Buddha way. Being so intimidated, they dare not undertake Buddhist practice. So, of course, they will not be able to practice diligently. This type of timid sentient beings will easily retreat to the small vehicle and follow the circuitous road.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, thumb up, please, if you finish. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. So class, I think this is talk about Bodhisattva, but the situation is applied to our situation also. Basically, why people they don't want to practice Bodhisattva? Number one is lazy. Number second, they look down themselves. They underestimate themselves. All right. Why people are lazy? There must be two reasons. One is because they indulge in the sensual pleasure. I think it's quite common and happen to us. For example, every day, maybe you fix a time for meditation, morning and the evening. But sometimes once you watch the movie, if somebody chit chat, you watch the YouTube, oh then pass through the time already. Because not much discipline. Like steady, I think the way is good because his whole family will do chanting together. So no matter how I mean how do you derail? I mean from your schedule, but your family member will bring you back. But most of the people nowadays, they lock down in their house, they really get 100% freedom, you know, just do according what they feel. So I think needless to talk, say the Bodhisattva, just I mean for present moment, how hard you can keep discipline, we can know already. We ourselves will know very well. So basically, that's why I mean, okay, you see, at times not everybody come back to study. Elena, Sally, you come. I also have to. I have to hardworking also. You see, if we don't have this class, I think we will end up maybe with the YouTube and Facebook with me. It's possible, you know. So no matter how, we must have the time, you see. So number one is about the essential pleasure. But in order to, to remind ourselves, we have to always see the shortcoming of the essential pleasure. It's just like, the honey on the blade. But I think if you compare with the young, because our students, we got young people, you are the, you are the, you all about the middle age and above. I got one group of students, they are middle age and below. I think basically, the middle age and below, they are not as hardworking as you all. The reason is number one, they have more resources to enjoy, and for them to feel the shortcoming of the sensual pleasure is quite hard a little bit. For them, they still want to enjoy more. But for middle age and above, you try many things already, or nothing new. And second, last but not least is the time, you know, because now once you are about middle age and above, meaning to say you are quite close to the coffin. Yeah, for the young people, they are so too far away, and they are so healthy, you see. So if we talk about the hardworking, they are not as hardworking and not as urgent as middle age and above, the way I see it. And here is the same thing only apply to these circumstances. Anyway, if let's say you feel lazy, number one, it is good we have the class, we have the class. So this is one thing to make sure we are always hardworking. Then secondly is about, Sally is good that we have a family do the chanting. How about Elena? Elena, do you do the chanting with family member? You don't do it together with Banju. Quite impossible to do that.
We stay in different houses.
Oh, I see. How about Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong? You both do the meditation together. Am I right, Mr. Leong, Mrs. Leong?
Yes.
Okay, very good. You see, two people better than one people. No matter how, two people even better than one people. Except you feel the joy in meditation already. Then you look for it. That's a little bit different. Just like watch the drama series, or you just keep on. If you don't have the joy, then well, mentally you will choose something which will easy to kill your time, which is have more sensual pleasure. We have a tendency. This is our nature. So this is why quite difficult. It's quite hard for us for being diligent. Second reason is they talk about the disparaging. Disparage means self underestimate. Am I correct? Like inferiority complex. It is correct. Disparage. The word. Is the same? Is the same? Disparage. You have to look for Oxford Dictionary. I thought you are the dictionary. Check for me. It is underestimate or inferiority complex. Yes, Elena.
Regard or represent as being of little worth. That means, like you say, low self-esteem, belittle.
Self-esteem, okay. A class, basically, if you choose for being bodhisattva path, you cannot be self-esteem yourself, you know. You cannot underestimate yourself. Okay, basically, the way we encourage people for being for cultivating Buddhahood is quite different with the Western Pure Land. Okay, if we want to encourage people to to practice Western Pure Land, we always will say, now it's the Dharma later day, meaning to say that it's the Dharma ending age. Second, you are not good as the previous people, or so meaning to say your capacity is very low, and now it's the Dharma ending age. So don't think too much. Just choose Western Pure Land now. So 100% rely on Amitabha. So that is the way, the marketing strategy is quite different for those who are very, they don't aim for the Bodhisattva. But if you aim, you can't say so. You have to always say that, yeah, I'm able to do so. I have the capacity. You must have the confidence. Okay, a few things why I have to say so. Number one, I remember I mentioned about the quantum physics before? Yes, right? In previous class, I mentioned quantum physics, meaning to say that, once the particles go to the smallest size, the rules in our mundane world it doesn't applicable already. It's not applicable already. It's the same, once you go to the Bodhisattva level, all right, and go to the jhana, our mundane rules is not applicable. You can't measure how long is the time, use our mathematics to measure it, cannot. So that is something which is immeasurable and out of imagination. You have to always think about it. Okay, so how to prove it? I see it possible or not. If one day I can get somebody got the psychic one, I will call you all and let you ask. Maybe I think that is one way. Second is you meditate yourself. Once you go to the very deep jhana and you're able to trigger your psychic, you go to check to understand how's the great vehicle mean, you see. Sometimes it's not easy to understand really the great vehicle. Like Guan Yin, he said, wherever you call me, I will manifest once you call me. But of course, you have to call me sincerely, and I will appear in front of you forever. So we need to say that the body is, we call it multiple folding, you see. Wherever there is, they can appear, you see. So this is, we can't use our mental rules to understand all this. Okay, so that is the reason why we have to be hardworking. Okay, now we go to the training the mind not to retreat. All right. Yes, Sally, your turn, please.
Training the mind not to retreat. Because of the difficulty of achieving Buddhahood, the long period of birth and death, and the vast provisions needed, one must train the mind not to retreat or give up. Those with timid minds who do not dare to practice the profound, vast, and perfect Buddha way of the great vehicle usually become intimidated and regress upon hearing three things. Upon hearing, first of all, the perfect Buddhahood puts an end to all faults and completes all virtues. They consider themselves unfit and doubt that they can attain such perfect Buddhahood. So they retreat. Instead, they should think, countless Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions have practiced to a point of completion and become Buddhas. Why can't I? Thus, it is said, they are zealous disciples, and so am I. I should not retreat at this. Those who fell into evil destinies in the past have become Buddhas, and those who are now on the evil destinies will become Buddhas in the future. Since certain beings are on the evil destinies can become Buddha, why should those living the precious lives of humans in the world, who are able to know the true Dharma and do good deeds, fear that they are unable to become the Buddhas? Upon hearing the second, that Bodhisattvas have to practice difficult and ascetic tasks such as giving up arms, legs, head, eyes, and so on, they feel it is too difficult and too miserable, and that they cannot succeed. So they dare not practice and consequently retreat. This is also wrong. In the innumerable past lives, we have fallen onto evil destinies and have gone through indescribable suffering. So why should one be afraid of the suffering involved in the practice directed towards the Buddha way? If one has chronic illness with unbearable pain that can be completely cured by undergoing surgery, one cannot one endure the pain of the operation? Furthermore, the difficult tasks of the bodhisattvas are different from ascetic practices of non-Buddhists. Bodhisattvas cultivate right practices and skillful means, and in their proper gradient, achieving the power of patience and supreme compassion, they give the bodies only when it is really beneficial to others and do not suffer for the sake of cultivation.
Okay, thank you so much. Tama, please once to finish. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Leong, actually you can thumb up also. In participants, there will be one, if you press the participants, okay, under your name, there's got somewhat, there's an icon, raise hand in blue color. You can just press this. Yeah, I saw it already. Yeah, that's true. Can you press again so you can raise down your hand, Mr. Leong? Okay. Press one more times, then you can raise down your hand. Okay. Okay, so class, here I think what the author try to do is try to convince us that we should keep on on the bodhisattva way. This is what the author tried to convince us. So number one, if you think, you are not supposed to do this, so the author will say that, no, you see the Buddha from the 10 direction, they already become Buddha. You also can, you see. So this is the reason by the author. And second, according to the to the sutra, because so many living beings, they have been forecast for being Buddhahood, even though Devatata, you see. A lot of beings they are in the hell, now they reincarnate, already reached the Buddhahood already. So, I mean, if you wish to do so, it is possible, according to the author. Then second, maybe we get frightened. It's because we talk about the giving. We have to give the eye, give the ear. We have to donate our bone marrow, our brain. So the author said, no, we don't ask you, just simply do. You do must be once you are prepared, you are ready. And I meaning to say that you can't do and jeopardize your own cultivation. You shouldn't do that. You must do once you are ready. Okay, class, it is convincible for you all for the diligence to the Buddhahood. Sally? How about the opinion of the author? It is strong enough for you to keep on as a bodhisattva.
I'm not a bodhisattva.
No. You are indecisive, or you already decide not being bodhisattva.
I don't want to be a bodhisattva because the other day you were telling me something like other past life when he's a bodhisattva, he cannot meditate, right?
Past life can meditate.
The day you were telling us one case very so I don't want to be a bodhisattva.
No, what did I tell you?
I think there's one case in Sri Lanka. A monk.
Okay.
He was a bodhisattva in previous life. Then this life he cannot meditate well because of.
No, cannot meditate well. He cannot attain arahantship.
Oh, he cannot attain arahantship. So I don't become bodhisattva.
You don't want.
I don't want to become bodhisattva.
You want to help more people all go to the nibbana at the same time. You don't want. You don't want the big ship. You just want a small ship only.
No. I don't mean that. I mean that bodhisattva next time you will have to what? To rescind the bodhisattva precepts, isn't it?
Because the your heart already. You don't like it. You don't want to help more people. Just maybe.
Not to say don't want to help more people, but I don't the bodhisattva way that I have to, enter and then have to go out again. I don't know how to go out there.
Burdensome lah, am I right? Something like that. Okay, how about Elena? Are you ready for bodhisattva? Until now, we haven't finished the whole thing yet.
I don't know.
We don't
I
know.
really don't know.
Okay, good. Okay, so don't know is a good answer also. So we just wait and see. But I mean, whatever you learn is better than. If you compare previously, you know nothing and just go for this bodhisattva pusaji, just do so many bowing. I think it's still better than that because you understand already. Oh, you understand. You know that like Sally, you can make a good decision. It's based on the knowledge. You see or not? We are not just because of the merit. It is good. How about Mr. Leong? Are you aiming for bodhisattva? Until now, how about the opinion from the author?
Actually, not prepared yet because we do not have the full knowledge and the wisdom to decide now.
So don't know lah. How about Mrs. Leong 怎么样 ？Mrs. Leong 做菩萨吗？
还没有到时间。
Okay. Still indecisive lah. So no problem. So this is the. Actually the author, even though he is 90-something and he is quite old and sick, but his heart so strong. So this is the reason why he influenced his disciple, Zhen Yan Fashi. So that's why for Zhen Yan Fashi, you see, he tried to work harder just to help more people. All right. So basically, if you're under Chuji, most of them are not aiming for Western Pure Land. They aim for the Buddhahood. Why? Because this is the teaching inherited from the author. So the author. So for most of the Chuji member, they will aim next life to come back again, become human, and then to work hard to help their master. So the way is the Buddhahood way. It's the more difficult way, the way we see it. But of course, people also sometimes will comment, maybe they are not fully understand the whole thing possible. Because if you fully understand the whole thing, it seems not that easy also. Okay, so we just go through, we check later on. Because if most of the people go to do the charitable work, they are not a very intellectual type people. Because intellectual type people, they prefer analyze, they want to see many charity work sometimes like you do the global protection, all this, just do the, the recycle work. It doesn't really need very high knowledge, you see. So sometimes the people they promise, we don't know whether they really understand. Maybe they just simple mind or understand. They just see the thing easily only, we don't know. But anyway, so that's, but your decision, we see later on. Okay, next paragraph. So this is what the author said. Okay, class, can you please try to check for me? Number 34 is under what sutra is it? Yes, are you able to read it out? What?
Commentary on Mahayana Samgara.
Mahayana Samgara, right?
Mm.
Commentary means 注解 Mahayana.
Mahayana Samgara.
Samgara. Oh, I know. It's a 大乘论 okay, but you don't know lah. This is more common in Chinese Buddhism. It is originated from Indian. Okay, yeah. Samgara, what does it mean? It means the compendium, you know. You try to combine all together. You try to, how shall I put it out? If let's say I got so many flowers, you see, okay, I use a string to make all together. What is the English word? I got so many flowers, the flowers scattered. So I use a string to unite all the flowers together. What is the word for it? To make all the flower in one string. In English, we call it what? What?
String them out to become a garland.
Yeah. Yes, so they become a garland. So how do we call it? I try to make all the flower together in one string.
Gather them together.
Gather, okay, yeah, something like that. So samgara means you try to gather all the dharma together. The Mahayana text. So this is from the text, still from the Mahayana text. Mahayana text is common and popular. It was common and popular in India in about 1st century after Christ. Okay, 1st century. Whereas Abhidhamma and also the Nikaya was common and popular before the Christ. Okay, so that is by having the background of the history, you can also help you for decision making, and also you feel more interesting. Yeah, Mr. Leong, any question? Yes.
Sifu, is this Mahayana Sangha same as this Abhidhamma Sangha?
Sorry.
Is this Mahayana Sangha same as this Abhidhamma Sangha?
As a different, okay. Abhidhammasangha meaning to say that they try to gather all the Abhidhamma together, all right? So that's why Abhidhammasangha is a summary by digest and some by digest all the Abhidhamma and its commentary. But for this is more for Mahayana text. They still do the Sangha, but but for the doctrine of the Mahayana. So they will be different, Mr. Leong. But anyway, we need people to do the Sangha, the gathering for us. A Sangha means to say, it's just something like the summarization, okay? And then digest it, become a simple digested form, all right? So we need people, especially once our sutra and Abhidhamma have been accumulated for a huge volume. So we don't have time to read so many things. Like this way of Buddhahood, you can consider it as a synthesis, right? We call it synthesis and summary from the Tripitaka. So after we study, maybe we just take 1 or 2 years, we almost finish the whole Tripitaka. It's very worthy. Okay, next paragraph. So we talk about this already. All right. Like you see here, talk about giving the arms, the legs, you see or not? So people feel quite miserable and difficult. It's really not that easy. Now, do you know the blood bank now is urgently need the blood. Very much urgent compared in the last year, you see. Why? Because the blood donation, the unit of the blood donation dropped drastically due to frightening for the disease, you see. You must have the courage to really go to do the blood donation. So that's why you must be prepared for it. Okay, next paragraph. Whose turn? Okay, I think Elena again. Yes, upon hearing.
Upon hearing that the cultivation of bodhisattvas requires remaining in the sea of birth and death for a long time, and accumulating such vast and boundless provisions require much time, they feel they cannot do it, so they do not dare to start to practice. This perception is even more faulty. Bodhisattvas understand that birth and death are like illusions, so they can be in the midst of birth and death for a long time and do not suffer. Furthermore, boundless provisions bring forth boundless virtues. Would anyone dislike so much virtue? Are there people who, having very much wealth, are bothered by the chore of counting it? If one thinks of retreating, one should use these ideas to strengthen one's mind so that one can diligently carry on toward the Buddha way. On the other hand, there are people in the world who think that becoming a Buddha is easy, convinced that by cultivating small virtues, they can become Buddhas. This may come from timidity and laziness, or from their ignorance, just as a newborn calf fears not the tiger. If one considers oneself to be infallible, it may be too late to acknowledge one's error when one discovers that this is not the case.
Well, thank you so much. Okay, class, the third reason why the author tried to encourage people, maybe we can say that the third motion, how should I put it? The third disagreement for being bodhisattva have been rebutted by the author that even though you are most of the time you are remaining in the ocean of the birth and death for many lives, then you get frightened, you see. So the author also rebut that, oh, well, this is the life, I mean, the birth and death is an illusion of the Bodhisattva. So that's why he said, it's no need to get frightening, you see. Even though you are, you are in the ocean of birth and death, but you are keep on accumulating all the merit. So he said, the people who are wealthy, they wouldn't feel lazy to count their money, you see. Why? Because you got so many things there, you see. Of course, you'll be happy in counting. The money belongs to you. Likewise, if you practice the Bodhisattva and accumulate merit in the ocean of the birth and death, you won't be lazy. You will feel happy enjoying accrued merit, you see. So this is from the author. But anyway, from here, author also mentioned that sometimes people may think that as for being Buddhahood is so easy. They think it's over simple, you see. So he said actually it's not that simple. Now we're going to talk about the easy path. Why? Because you see, until now, four one already what already retreat said, oh, I don't want the Bodhisattva. The other three is still indecisive. So that's why we come to the second option is about the easy way. So hopefully after the easy way, you all will redecide again and maybe Sally will think differently. Now it's a time for brainwashing. Okay, yes, taking the easy path. Sally, your turn to read. Okay.
I thought it's Mr. Liang's turn.
Okay, Mr. Yes, please. Okay.
Me,
Yes. Okay. Instantly you read. Okay.
okay. Taking the easy path. Those who are timid and inferior wish to have an easy path to practice. Although all sentient beings can eventually become Buddhas, the truth is that they have different fundamental capacities. Some are suitable to practice Bodhisattva deeds, and some are not compatible with Bodhisattva dharma. Some want to follow the Bodhisattva, but are afraid to practice. To those whose fundamental nature was suitable for Bodhisattva deeds, the Buddha naturally taught the supreme way. Those who are not suitable for Bodhisattva deeds have poor and timid fundamental nature. Such people are described in a parable in the Lotus Sutra. A poor man returns to the native country, and upon seeing an elder with incalculable wealth, he is seized by fear and runs away. Those with this type of fundamental capacity must be taught the skillful doctrine, the Saravaka, Dharma, and the Prajika Buddha vehicles in order to gradually embrace and transform them. Other timid sentient beings, those who want to practice the Bodhisattva deed but lack self-faith, and those who admire the ultimate perfection of Buddhahood but lack the courage to get underway and diligently practice the vast Bodhisattva deeds, lack faith and fear, falling into the small vehicle or drowning sea of suffering. For these types, the skillful means of the two vehicles are not suitable. So Buddha has to use special methods to transform them. Those with timid and inferior fundamental nature who want to become Buddhas but do not want to practice the great deeds and difficult tasks of Bodhisattvas wish to have a fast, easy, and simple path. This is not in tune with the vows or the Bodhisattva deeds. However, because of seeking to accomplish the Buddha way is definitely requires the practice of the great Bodhisattva deeds.
Okay, thank you so much. Off the mind, please, class. Okay. So class, this is the introduction to the easy way, because I see a class, people, okay, everybody have a different capacity. There is a different capacity for those. I mean, they admire that, oh, Bodhisattva, it seems good, all right. We know become Buddha is better than become Arahant, but the way sounds so difficult. So that's why we must have alternative suggest to them, so that they can become Buddhahood, but they will be get frightening to the, wow, it's the difficult way. Huh? So I think this Sally may have to really listen to it. Okay. I mean, here I think one thing we can really go a little bit is regard the Lotus Sutra. Actually, class, basically, the story here, I'm not fully understand because I forget already. But anyway, in Lotus Sutra, okay, Lotus Sutra in Mahayana is so important. The reason is Lotus Sutra, a Lotus Sutra suggests a simple way. Suggest a method to make things easy. For example, maybe I propose that maybe Sally, you try to walk to Erdi, you see, you get frightened. I say, wow, so long. How long I'm supposed to take in order to reach Erdi, you see? Okay, so if I say that, oh, Sally, no problem. Maybe you just try to walk to the eco-charas in the first place. Okay, once you reach, let me check out. You have to reach where first before you come to Erdi. I'm confused.
Sifu, eco-charas is different direction. I'm going further down, not going inside.
No, it's a wrong direction. So I think before you reach Erdi, you have to reach where first? Let me check. Taman Konok, am I right? Taman Konok, you have to reach Taman Konok and then you come Erdi. So maybe I will tell Sally, okay, Sally, we're not supposed to say that you just walk to Erdi. We said you just come to the Taman Konok first. Once you reach the Taman Konok, we say, oh, Sally, there's still a little bit distant and you can reach Erdi. Then you walk again. You're that easy. So this is the way from the Dharma Flower Sutra. We tell people that, oh, you can't practice because Arahant first. Okay, once you reach Arahant, then you say that, oh, Buddhahood is very, very near only. Please work harder. Just walk some more step, you can reach. So this is what the Dharma Flower Lotus Sutra to suggest. See, but of course, Dharma Flower Lotus just suggests one destination, Buddhahood only. Okay, but I think nowadays for most of the Theravada, They are not aiming for Buddhahood. Most of them aiming for the Arahant is enough already. So this is the culture, even though they have the Bodhisattva path, but it is not common. It is not common. Mr. Leong, can you please roughly explain why you don't feel Buddhahood is not common in the Theravada which you approach, but actually there is a 10 paramita and Bodhisattva path in Theravada text too. Yes, Mr. Leong.
Yes, it's not so easy to achieve the 10 paramis to become Sama Sambuddha. So the easiest way and the first thing to arrive at is the Arahanta stage.
But it is quite common that people understand the 10 paramita in Theravada, or not many people understand too.
I think those who are intermediate, they know about the 10 paramis to be a Buddha.
Oh, so but anyway, it seems the Mahayana Buddhahood is not as common as in Mahayana compared with Theravada. Is this correct?
I think so, because the thing is, even for us as a Buddhist, Theravada Buddhist, to achieve the Sotapanna level is also good enough already.
Yeah.
Then we come back 7 times, yeah, and then to go and achieve until the level of Arahant.
So meaning to say that we have some cultural background also make us the difference. Because you see, Theravada basically fully succeeded, inherited from Paya Timsa, which is, I mean, in Sri Lanka. And I mean, it's about 1500 before Christ. The Buddhism start to, I mean, Mahinda Thera start to, I mean, brought the Dharma from the Ganges River to the Sri Lanka, and from Sri Lanka, it started spreading to all the Theravada country nowadays. You see, so meaning to say that here the teaching is very, very pure. Mostly, I mean, not much. There's some there's some Mahayana teaching, but it's not common. It's not fully, I mean, expounded. But you see, in Mahayana, we are also originated same from the Ganges River. We are more on Sarvastivada, and Sarvastivada, they go to the northeast part of the India. Xibei is a west, Xibei, not west part of the Indian. All right, it's spread to there. But the Mahayana also start to flourish in India. The teaching also penetrate to the China through the Xinjiang. So the way I see the Mahayana is common, and yet a few Chinese monks that travel starting from 1st century to the 8th century. So they brought back a lot of Mahayana Sutra to the China mainland. So it makes China mainland is greatly influenced by Mahayana compared with the Theravada. Okay, Elena, you study history. Do you get what I mean? Yes, maybe okay, okay. So this is some historical background. Why there's a difference between the two yana. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. So here, Lotus Sutra. Maybe we know a little bit regards the Lotus Sutra. Lotus Sutra is translated by Kumarasu-Chiwa. May I know what is the nationality of the Kumara Jiwa? Elena, you study history of Buddhism. What is his nationality? Sally, can you have a guess? The nationality
China.
Kumarasu-Chiwa. Kumarasu-Chiwa.
China.
Huh?
China.
No, he is the translator to the Fosho Amito Jing.
Yeah, so China from China is a Chinese, isn't it?
Oh no. Actually, Kumarasu-Chiwa is a Xinjiang, you know. Xinjiang. Yes. Let me show you how is the look of Kumarasu-Chiwa. Kumarajiwa. Kumarajiwa is about 4th century lah. So this is the statue to commemorate him. See, if you go to this, this is in the cave or what lah? Let me see. It's in the cave. Not this. This is his statue quite symbolic statue, is in the Gazex. How to say? How should I call it? In Xinjiang, there's some cave we call it as a Gazex. You can see him lah. So this is some picture regards him. He's not China. He's from Xinjiang. Now, so see, this at the back is the Gazex, the mountain of the Gazex. You can see so many statues. Okay, Elena, maybe your next trip we can aim for it lah. Or Elena, so you go to the yeah. You have to go to Egypt. Egypt. Why you cannot go there? You can see so many caves. It's in the desert also. It's very dry, the place. So that's why they can keep all the artifact until now, you see. All right. So he's the translator of the 佛说阿弥陀经. So let me show you. So this is the Lotus Sutra, same author from the Kumara Jiva. Let's take a look. This is the Sanskrit manuscript. Okay, lotus flower also it was compiled quite early. It's about 4th century. It's quite early, you see. Now, one venerated Mahayana Sutra. All right. Okay. Basically, in China Buddhism, most of the school they use it as their main teaching. They make it as the main teaching. You see the title. The full name is Dharma Puntarika Sutra. Okay, so class, I think you can get the translation from the CTTB. I think Zhong Hong Fa Shi used to chant Fa Hua Jing. Am I right, Sally? Have you ever chanted before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you chant. So you chant the Hanyu Pinyin. Can you follow?
No.
Okay, anyway. If you are free, since you have been locked down already, you're fully locked down in the coming weeks, so you can go to look for the translation of the Lotus Flower Sutra. It is.
Yeah, I have the book.
I have the book. Oh, from who is the translator? From CTTB, right?
No, Burton Watson.
Oh, okay, from the scholar, of British scholar or American scholar Okay, yeah, you can try to read through it. You see how. So this is quite, it's quite common in Mahayana. Okay, but you see, both sentient and insentient beings possess the potential to become the Buddha. So from Wikipedia, you can roughly understand the gist of the sutra. See, the true nature of Buddha. See, so it's good for you to go through. You see, chapter 1 is regards of what? Chapter 2 and 9. I think there's, hey, Sally, am I right? There's some Sanskrit version is available. So the author translate from the Sanskrit version to the English. Is this correct? I think they're not able to read the classical Chinese.
No.
No, from Sanskrit.
It is translation from Asian classic to
Asian classic, Chinese classic or Asian classic?
Asian classic.
Not the Chinese classic. I can see lah. I just want to know it's translation from Sanskrit text or Chinese text only. Never mind.
They just put Asian classic.
It's supposed to be Sanskrit lah. Okay, never mind. Sally, you just go through it and then you teach Elena so that he can enlighten faster than us. Yes, it's interesting. You should have some homework. I see this is very famous. The parable of the phantom city, you see. The Taman Kono is the phantom city. Taman Kono is the phantom city. Then from phantom city, you come to Erdi. We make the distance easier. Make you feel more easy to reach the destination. So actually, Arahana, according to the text, is the phantom city actually. So remember, class, China Buddhism is greatly influenced by the Tibetan Buddhism, not solely from Indian Buddhism, because Xinjiang is in the middle between India and also the Chinese. And basically, most of the route, Silk Route, I think 2/3 or 1/3 is in Xinjiang. It's very long. Okay, so if you go through the Silk Route, you have to understand the Buddhism, then you know it better. According to the history, the Xinjiang Buddhism, or they call it as a Western region, is very popular and common. It's very popular. And it is popular for 1,000 years until the rise of the Muslim, the Islam, or once the Islam come, or they start to war and conquer the whole thing. Until now, there are no people relate Xinjiang with the Buddhism together. Am I right? When you say Xinjiang, you think Muslim only, right? Oh, but actually no. Actually, I mean before the 10th centuries, it is colonized by the Buddhism. You know, the whole they are all Buddhism areas. See, so it is good that you roughly understand some history of Buddhism. Okay, now, okay, it's a Lotus Sutra. Okay, basically the people, they lack of a self-faith and self-courage in order to become the Buddhahood. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, we got one more big paragraph. Okay, yes, whose turn? Mr. Leong, can you please read it out? This is similar to
This is similar to the discourse by Nagarjuna Bodhisattva on the chapter on easy practice in the Dasa Bhumi Vibhasa Sutra. Such people require Nagarjuna saying, as Avivatins, non-retreaters, Bodhisattvas can, through the practice of difficult deeds, either eventually succeed or regress to the level of Sravakas and Pachika Buddhas. If the latter occurs, this is a big decline. If among the teachings of all Buddhas there is an easy path that leads to the skillful stage of Avivatin, please tell us. Nagarjuna answered, what you say is timid, inferior, and small-minded. It is not something that a zealous disciple with determination to practice should say. Why? If one vows to attain the Anattara Sanya Sambodhi, then prior to attaining the stage of Avivatin, one should not hesitate to sacrifice one's own body and life, and should be diligent day and night as if one's own head were on fire.
Okay, thank you so much.
140.
140.
Thank you.
Can you check for me footnote 35? It is from the big treatise of Mahaprajnaparamita.
It is based on Dasa Bhumika Vibhaga Sastra.
Yes, Mr. Leong here, I see. Dasa Bhumi Vibhasa Sastra. Dasa means 10. Bhumi means the ground. Ground is the latest stage for the Bodhisattva. Suti Luna. So class, okay, here you see chapter on easy practice. Sally, this is for you, you see, easy. The words is easy. Why? Because class is regards this status. Avivatin, you see. What does it mean Avivatin? Non-retreater. Because according to the Western Pure Land, they suggest that according to this Mahayana Sutra, say, if you go to the Western Pure Land, you practice until you become Avavatin, then you come back to the Sahawa. Then you won't worry for the retreat or regress because you are steady already. So that's why they must have some easy way, because people feel scary, wow, so long the time, and yet you will regress, and then you have to reincarnate again. So this is the suggestion from the Nagarjuna. So I say, preferably you do this way. If you regress, become the Pachaka Buddha or Sravaka, it's the big decline, you see. So you see, meaning to say that this type of minor sutra is not correct Chinese. Don't misunderstand. It is originated from Indian, but it is common and popular. It's about 1st century, 1st to 2nd century. It's very common and popular. I think the area maybe is just where maybe quite the northern part of India, maybe just somewhere there lah. It's very sorry, it's northern part of India. It's very common at that time. So the teaching is very common. Okay. About 1st and 2nd Christ. And then later on, Chinese monks start to travel, and once they reach to India, all the sutra have been accumulated, have been compiled. So they just bring it back to the China. So this is what's happening here. So, but this sutra is not common in Theravada. The reason is Theravada Buddhism, they keep on developed by themselves. They never said any people go to India at that time. It's, I think, from maybe 1st century to the 10th century, we never see any other monk from Theravada travel to India and bring it back to the country, to Myanmar or Thailand. But we see it happen in China. Why? It's due to the Silk Road. There's only 2 types of people will go through the Silk Road, which is so dangerous. One is businessman, second is the monk. These 2 types of people. So basically, the monk they follow all the businessmen to go to the Indian. Okay, they will because the Silk Road include the Middle East and also Indian. Once they reach here, so they just bring back all the sutra and then go back to the China again. And the businessmen also go back to the China. So businessmen they trade in between the silk and the spices are from India. So this is, they got some historical background, so it happened in this way. But some Theravada, they thought all is, is created by Chinaman. No, it's not right. It is not created by Chinaman. It is originated, established in India. Okay, so class, so we stop